Yeah, I mean, it was good. We got to go run around, bang into each other a little bit, physical practice. And, there's an intent to why we did a true inside run period where it's put the ball down and go, and everybody knows in the whole place that it's run, and then finish practice with a run period the whole way through. Like I told them, we're going to be a calloused football team. We're going to hit more than what we've ever hit around here, including last year or anything. And we hit about the same last year as what we've done before. It's going to be exponentially different that way. So that's how that'll work. And like attitude to everybody. And we're in a, good spot so far. 3 practices in, haven't picked up an injury, anything like that. So knock on wood, keep rolling. So good questions.
I know you wanted more violence. Sounded and looked a little more violent.
Yeah, so in next week it needs to be a lot more violent than that. But it was good. There was a start of like violence that way, and that's what I wanted. So that was a good thing.
Just talking to a couple of these players so far this spring, it seems like a lot of these guys have a bad taste in their mouth from last year. You kind of getting that vibe from this group.
Oh, that vibe was created. Like, even go back to pre-Boise, but that vibe has been created by everybody that walks through a door in this building every day. Like, I don't look. We remind them on the constant of certain things. Our trophy case that the boot's in sits in our weight room. And so they see that every day. They get reminded of certain things every day. There's not a, what I mean? So like, yeah, there's a bad taste that needs to be. Everybody has to own, and that's including the new people. They have to buy into that. It's the fact that, like, take your work personal and let's go.
Yeah. I don't think I've ever heard you mention the name Charlie Conan. He made a lot of plays today. Is he a guy who could possibly do some stuff?
Look, I think Charlie Conan and Tyler Nystrom are 2 guys that are non-scholarship receivers right now that are nice football players. They are. And as far as whether they've got a role to do certain things offensively, whether they got a role to do certain things special teams wise, they're both good athletes, intelligent people, have physical bodies to them. So no, I love Charlie Conan. I think he's a really good person. Same thing with Tyler, in the same kind of boat that way. So it's good to see them do things positive.
Who might be catching your eye besides some of the guys that we talked about?
Well, look, I think Jalen Bean had a solid day today. I thought he did some good things, which is a positive right there. I think, obviously, I think John Mike showed up really well today too. I think that was a good thing. I think Teron Kelman you can kind of see he has very good vision. He has very good feet. And he's a 208-pound running back. So he's not a guy that's an arm tackle type of guy either. He's everything that I hoped that he would be in that regard. So I'm happy with that so far. I think some of our younger secondary guys, the newer secondary guys are kind of still learning everything, but they flashed. Desmond Hearns, I think, is a pretty solid football player. I think Isaiah Bogar's had a good week. I think the linebackers have gotten better from practice 1 to where we are right now. So that's a good thing.
Going back to, you obviously have experience in that safety room here. I mean, what are you seeing out of that group with Taylor and Hearns and the rest of those guys so far?
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of athleticism there. We're upgraded athletically. Now what we've got to do is play the way that we want them to play, as far as eye control, footwork, body positions, communication, all those things that way. So there's a lot of layers to it. But as far as just purely when they get out, run around, they're good size and they've got good athleticism. So I'm happy with that group right now. It's day 3. We got 37 more before we play a game, and we're going to need all 37 of them and figure out a way to make those 37 into 74. So that's where we're at.
How about the quarterbacks today?
Yeah, I thought Caden was pretty sharp. I think Landon Sims has had a really good week. I think you can see how the ball jumps off his hand real well, and he's a good athlete. I think that, right now, Jack Walsh being our center, Wes King is really like our backup center right now, but he's playing guard.
Right.
So we get some snaps that are on the ground a little bit. Caleb Hall is stepped in there, and he's snapping for us right now and doing that, and he'll be fine. But it's, there's some things in there where the quarterbacks are pulling out sometimes too soon. Mason had a couple of those. Dion Batiste had a couple of those today. So we just got to get better and a lot more repetition at those things. So
Any updates on the running back coach search?
yeah. So here's just so where we're at. I have a pool of really good candidates. Not that I was surprised by the candidates, but very good candidates. And my goal is to come out of tomorrow night where I have a path of, okay, this is the person I want to bring in to interview, or these are the couple people I want to bring in to interview, with the goal of having a hire by next weekend, and then have that coach be here the last 3 weeks of spring practice. There is good candidates, and there's a lot of things that you got to though vet into it, because I want a great fit for what we need, and that's everything, right? Because that coach has to represent us recruiting wise, that coach has to represent us in the community, that coach has to represent us in terms of how we coach and everything that way. And so you want the right fit, the right person, all those things. I like where we're at with the group that I've talked to, and that's kind of like when I get out of here, we've got junior day, that finishes up. I'll turn my attention to that some more. And then, like I said, by tomorrow night, I hope I have a path on it.
Do you have a coach that's taking the place right now, kind of helping the running backs?
Yeah, so Bryce, our graduate assistant, that's primarily been working with the quarterbacks. He's meeting with the running backs. He had coached running backs before. And so we're not in a situation where we're rudderless at that position. Like he's meeting with them, he's run drills with them, all those things that way. So, and they're doing a good job. We're not missing assignments at the position. We're not, like that would be the things you'd be concerned with, is all of a sudden like we're going the wrong way, or we're not picking up the right people, and he's done a really good job with that right now. So pretty happy with him.
How many kids were here today, and do you enjoy this kind of meeting these youngsters and starting to develop some relationships?
Yeah, I love this. We have about 65 high school recruits here. So with their parents, and then obviously there's different layers to it. There'll be some guys there'll be a few guys that will have offers from us today. There'll be some other guys that, that we are going to push to get back to camp in the summer and get further evaluations on and things of that nature. I think we had a handful of we had 5 recruits here on Thursday. Look, that's a constant thing. Like, I mean, there's, like when I get done with the running, that's the only thing that the running back thing has been a distraction to me on, is the fact that I've had to do just a little less recruiting the last couple of days, but that's a constant thing. Like we're always going to do that. So that I love this part. I think it's a good chance for them to get to see us practice and see how we operate.
Yeah, Coach, do you think that the guys get up a little bit more when people are here watching them?
Oh, there's no question. They look for, I hope that next Saturday, when we have open practice, I hope we have more people. I hope we have, I probably need to, I kind of been like in dark world social media wise, so maybe I need to probably put something out there too about I can blame Nick that we didn't have more people today, but the reality is that they like the Saturday, open practices, and to get a chance to be around people. Having all the people for the junior day today was a good thing, and so no, our players look forward to that.
How about Kilman meeting Vias at the line of scrimmage like that?
Yeah, look, Tehran. So there was a few things with Tehran. I think that the word that we had typically got out of Charlotte a lot was that, there was some things that kind of internally went on there a little bit, that he should have played a lot more in what he did. And when you watch him against a James Madison and against North Carolina and places like that, like first guys were not getting him on the ground. And this is at 197-pound Tehran. Now he's 208. I think we have a pretty good back. And so we've got to continue to develop with Nico and do that. And we'll get Sam back and that. And then, like I said, I always wanted to get another one in the spring portal anyway. So I want that room to be stocked. I think tight end right now in this program, you look at it, especially with a couple more guys coming in this summer, like that's going to be you're going to look at that room. You're like, that room's stocked. I want running back to be stocked around here. I want the offensive line to get to that way. You know, that's kind of the goal of all this recruiting wise, is until I feel like, hey, we've got great numbers and great size and all this at all these positions, we got to keep going. So
Thanks, Coach.
appreciate y'all. Yep.